is going on, everybody? Welcome to Fourth Line Minutes, shift number 5. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom. Kyle Sullivan, how are we doing today, sir?
How's it going, everybody? What's going on?
So, we have, first of all, love the new setup.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of everything. I'm seeing, obviously, some Avalanche stuff, some Auburn over there. I'm assuming that's the Bulls, that local team, the Bulls.
Yes, that's their 1970s jersey.
Now, Mighty Ducks, is that just because, it's a classic logo, or okay? But you showed me like a 360 view of that room. We probably should take some pictures of it and put it up on the Twitter page because, dude, I love it. Can you swing around and show the belt wall, or no?
I probably can right here.
I don't want to screw anything up. But the belt wall is something to behold. Look at that beauty. It doesn't end. That is awesome. I love it.
I've been collecting those bad boys since I was like 13, 14, 15.
Man, I will never forget going to back then it was WWF. When I was a kid, it was me, my dad, and my brother, and my dad bought me a belt. To me, it was, looking back, it was probably just like cheap styrofoam and cheap plastic. But to me, that was legit. That was the real deal. And I wish I knew what I did with that thing. And it probably just went the way of a garage sale sooner or later. But where is yours coming from? Like these are just, you've collected them for how long?
At least 15 years now.
Wow. And you've never lost one.
No, I got like even the old 80s Hulk Hogan belt. I got WCW belts, ECW.
Yeah. So are those like the legit ones? I mean, you don't have to tell me how much they cost, but are they like...
No, these are like the $20 ones you get back in the day at Toys R Us and stuff.
Right. Yeah, but still.
I'd see a new one and I'd go, okay, I'll get this one.
Grab it. That's awesome. I love it. I love that. So we take some pictures, take some snapshots, and throw them up. So, all right. So today is going to be hockey heavy. There's some player news we have going on. I don't think it's a possibility of outdoor games. I think it's definite outdoor games, but there's nothing on NHL's website to kind of verify it, but they've said that it's happening. So we'll get into that stuff. And then Kyle and I will kind of play GM or maybe even commissioner, I guess.
We'll be commissioner.
Yeah. And kind of talk about maybe some changes we'd like to see around the league. Kyle has a pretty bizarre story, which I didn't want him to tell me. I kind of want him to tell me on the air, which is hockey related, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he'll tell me that. We'll get into our Be a Pro, which we are going to start up this week through NHL 21, and then we'll get our game simulation. Who was last week?
Last week,
Anaheim, right?
It was the Ducks beat the Capitals.
What's up with that? So today should be interesting. We've not gone more than a week with the Avalanche either winning a cup or being in the cup, right?
That's true.
So we'll see how this one turns out. So, but definitely follow the show on social media outlets. On Twitter, it is Fourth Minutes. On Instagram, it is Fourth Line Minutes. And follow along. Follow all the fun stuff that we do on there. So,
yeah.
All right.
Loving all the social interaction we've been getting this week. So
it's
been
good.
Fantastic.
It's fun in a sometimes not so fun world at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but hockey is around the corner. Less than 2 weeks away. Training camps are all underway now, I believe. Mm-hmm. And with that comes new signings and a player yet to be signed. So who do we start with? I think we have to start with Zdeno Chara.
Yeah. That crazy.
It's so his deal is, I think it's just a 1-year deal to Washington for like $800,000 or something like that, right? It's not.
Yeah.
I think at his point in the career, he's not chasing the money. He's going after maybe one last cup. So one of those things where it's like, okay, a guy has been with one team for so long. You would think he was just going to sign with them again if both parties wanted it. I don't know. Like, where do you come down on this? It seems like he wanted to stay there, but did Boston? Is this like a Tom Brady thing? Like Tom Brady, like Boston or the New England Patriots were ready to move on from Tom Brady, and Brady kind of wanted to stay. And this is the same for Chara. Like he wanted to stay, but the Bruins didn't want him. I don't know.
It had to be Boston not wanting him because Zdeno, I mean, he played the playoffs with a wired jaw. Like he loved being in Boston. Like
Right.
I mean, he was just that name that everybody put together. I mean, I know he didn't start there, but
Well,
he was synonymous with Boston hockey,
right.
and for him to go to Washington was just a head scratcher.
Why?
Kind of piggybacking off like Corey Perry going to Montreal. This is that same level of weird.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Why though? Why do you think it doesn't make sense? Like, I mean, from the standpoint of just he's been in Boston for so long.
And why would you go to Washington? It would be like Aaron Rodgers going to Minnesota.
You don't think Washington's going to be as good as Boston?
Well, I mean, it's almost a rival move. Boston and Washington.
That is why, yes.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, and I guess he wants to play one season with Ovi.
Are they good friends or something? I don't know. They must be. I don't know. I mean, from that standpoint, yes. From being a rival, okay, that doesn't. I mean, it happens. Like when you think rivalries, you think Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah.
The odd thing about Red Sox and Yankees is nobody really goes from the Yankees to the Red Sox. It's happened where people go from the Red Sox to the Yankees. That happens. I don't say quite a bit, but it happens more than the other way around. Is this rivalry up there with that? I mean, it's. I mean, I don't want to say it's close, but it is a rivalry nonetheless. So yeah, to that aspect, going to any of those teams. I mean, if he had gone to like the Rangers or something like that, like that's a smack in the face. I think for him to go to Washington, to me, kind of speaks to either Boston really didn't want him back, and he says, "Okay, then I'm going to go to a rival to really make you regret that decision." Or he thinks that Washington has, if that's not the case, if Boston never said to him, like, we want you back, but he maybe just thought, like, I think Washington has a better chance than Boston. Because we've both been saying we don't think Boston is going to be, they'll be a playoff team. But, well, you don't think they will, actually.
No, I think this is it.
Yeah. I think he sees them slipping like I do and like you do. I think they will get into the playoffs. I think they will be that fourth team in that division. But yeah, I mean, would it surprise me? No. Team and the age that they're at. Look, I mean, getting Chara is not going to put Washington over the top. Let's get real.
No.
It's a name. If there were butts in the seats, he might sell a couple tickets. But what's he, 41, 42 years old?
That's what was another head scratcher. It's not like he's cup chasing or trying to prove anything. Like he could have just walked away and everybody would have been completely fine with it.
Right.
I don't understand. Like it's the same. Like I can understand to a point Joe Thornton going to Toronto to possibly chase a cup. Sure. I mean, that's not one of the ones that I see challenging for the cup this year, but it's justified and you can understand that. But Zdeno Chara, I don't know what he's trying to prove in Washington.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think this is the time to prove it either.
Like I said, the only thing, right? You're definitely right about that. The only thing I can think of is, like I said, that he just really feels like he just wants to get one more shot at a cup, and he feels Washington's better than Boston. I mean, you're not getting look, his stats from last year: 68 games played, which is around. I mean, that's I think that's every game for pretty close, depending on 14 points. You know what I mean? Like he's a defender, but he's put up points in the past. He's at the end of his career. Let's get real. He's not gonna light it up for even 30 points, I don't think. You know what I mean? So what are you getting? You're getting a old defender who we've talked about. Guys like him and guys like Thornton are really going to be tested with this season because you don't have a lot of time off to recuperate.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
And when this is all said and done, we call everybody on defense the quarterback on the ice.
Yeah.
But this is going to be Joe Montana when he went to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to remember this in 10, 15 years.
No. You're right. So I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people were kind of making fun of Washington for saying like, man, they really just wanted an old guy on their team because when Lundqvist made the announcement that he wasn't going to play, so like, well, we need an old guy. Go get Chara.
We need that Denny's discount, so we need some kind of age.
Oh, that's great. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to move the needle so much, but like I said, it's a name, and it's going to be weird seeing him in a Capitals uniform. Even like you said, even though he played on other teams, you don't think of him on those teams. You think of him as a Bruin. So another guy who has not reported is Matthew Barzal from the Islanders. Do you think this is something that is just going to get done at this point, and it's just coming to an agreement?
Yeah, this is it's happened a couple times here lately with just guys announcing, hey, not until my contract signed, and then maybe an hour or two later it comes out, hey, by the way, he's signed to 2-3 year deal. Like Barzal is one I would have done first.
Right.
He's an all-star. He's a great talent. This is not one I want to slip through the cracks.
No.
And you don't want him to. So
let me see what he's making right now. Oh, he nothing. He's an RFA.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's trying to. Guys don't do that in hockey, like restructure or anything like that. But let's see. The Islanders have 3.9 in cap space. That's not enough to sign him. No, not at all. So this is, they're going to have to shed something somewhere.
This is why we got Devin Taves.
Right. You're exactly right.
Lou Lamoriello's still suffering with the cap, and he's about to lose talent that he really doesn't need. Barzal is he is incredible. If you ever get the chance to look up his highlights, he's worth every penny. And
exactly.
If they have 3.9, they need to pay him 3.899.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the Islanders are a kind of a boring team to watch, but he brings life to that team because he's a speed demon. He can score. He had, I think, 60 some points last year. 60 exactly. 19 goals, 41 assists, and he's just trending up. Like he is going to be in that category of kind of elite players. I really think that with him. So they want to get him signed. That they don't have the money to do anything really long term. It might just be a short deal, but you got to get rid of somebody to free up a couple extra $1 million for him just to make him happy. So I wish I could see what he made last year. I could probably look it up, but yeah, that could be. They lose him, which I don't think will happen, but they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Yeah. So good.
No, it's like I was saying, he's not a player you want to lose, and this is not the way you want to start the year.
No, you're at camp. You need all those guys there. So,
and especially, like I mentioned just earlier, they lost Devin Taves because of this cap issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose Devin Taves and still can't get Barzal, there's major problems, major problems. And this is something that should have been rectified first instead of all the way up to training camp.
Well, here you go. On injured reserve, you have 36-year-old Johnny Boychuk making $6 million a year.
Put him on LTIR. Solve it.
Free up that money, and there you go.
Yep.
There you go. So,
wow, be a GM mode's already
hey, right? So, all right. Didn't think that we would really see anything for outdoor games this year.
Yeah.
Obviously with the season not starting till the 13th, You always get the Winter Classic on the first of the year, and then the Stadium Series games. I think everything got canceled, obviously, but now it has been reported that the NHL is looking to have 2 outdoor games in Lake Tahoe. And we would benefit from that, being Avalanche fans, because and I didn't notice this, because when I looked at the Avalanche schedule, I just looked at their schedule. I didn't go through day by day by day by day. And apparently on the 20th of February, the only game that's being played is Avalanche Vegas. There's no other game being played that I didn't, I don't look at the entirety of the schedule. So people that do were like, that's weird. You're playing all the time. All these teams are playing and you only have one game scheduled. And then, and I think that's true for the following day on the 21st between Philly and Boston. So people were saying like, something's got to be going on there. Well, it turns out seems like what's going on is outdoor games in Lake Tahoe, Avalanche versus Vegas. And then, like I said, on the 20th and on 21st, Philly versus Boston. They're doing it really they need to drum up as much excitement and as much revenue as possible. I don't know how you do that when you still don't let fans, like they've said there's not going to be any fans at this thing. So I don't know how you do that. I mean, maybe it's not revenue that you're trying to drum up. Maybe it's just excitement. Maybe it's just viewership.
Yeah.
So
I think this is their way of making up what they usually gain every year, because it's almost become a tradition.
Right.
Like New Year's Day, you watch the Winter Classic. Everybody sits down, watch Winter Classic.
Love it.
That's gone. So you got to find something comparable where people can point their finger and be like, oh yeah, that outdoor game the NHL usually plays. And you get that casual fan during what's kind of a lull in the sports season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, especially without a gate. You're not going to really recoup financials. Like the reverse retros, they're adding on another year.
So is that true? Is that definite? Okay, I heard about that.
They're doing it again next year, so fans could be in attendance and go to the arena and buy all the reverse retro stuff
and wear them while they're watching the game. Like we're missing out on all that stuff. So yeah. I think that's a smart.
They added another year to it. So the outdoor gate, I mean, it's not going to be for financials. It's just gaining fans.
Yeah. I mean, because the ads on the helmet are going to add some financial revenue. I don't know how much, and it's not even mandatory that every team does it. And up to this point, I've only heard Washington and
New Jersey.
Yes. And I'm not looking for that, for news articles, but no, it's not mandatory that you have to do it. And I haven't heard, for our team, the Avalanche, that they very well could. I don't know. I haven't heard, but
you would think the Florida Panthers would be number one, and then it would be like Columbus,
Arizona,
be the struggling franchises.
Yeah, you would hear. I thought you'd hear more about it, but you haven't really heard it. The outdoor game, interestingly enough, like I said, at Lake Tahoe, is going to be played at a golf course.
At least it's not Air Force.
Yeah, well, they could do it at Air Force now because there's no audience, there's no crowd.
Yeah, no traffic.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a problem getting in and out. But apparently they're doing this on holes 16, 17, and 18.
So wait a minute, legitimately on a course?
Yes, on a golf course. So my question is, that has to be the flattest golf course I've ever seen in my life. If you can put a hockey rink across 3 holes and make it level, number 2. I mean, and if you do not include Happy Gilmore somehow into this event, you have missed the boat. I'm sorry.
I mean, Boston. You got Boston on day 2.
And you have Boston. Right. Exactly. That has to be the puck drop.
There's no way. Gary Bettman, hear me now.
Be a GM. We're still doing it.
Still doing it.
Yeah, man, that's what I heard. Golf course. I don't. There's apparently there is a hockey rink at this resort, at this golf course.
Is there like a big water feature lake that connects these 3 holes?
I have no idea. I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
It's bananas. Yeah. So I got to get more info. All I heard was at this golf course that has a hockey rink, but they want to do it outdoors. Can they? I mean, you got to get going on this, man. Like this is a month and a half away. So, but now here's the other question: do we get another jersey out of this?
There's no way they go for 5.
I don't think you can. But if it's
what could Vegas do with a jersey? I mean, Vegas has already exhausted what they got.
Vegas is tapped out with jerseys. They can do nothing else. They literally can do nothing else with jerseys.
They literally had to make up a retro jersey.
They did, yeah. Oh, it's hysterical. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how this pans out. It, like I said, it's been, I guess, finalized, but you haven't seen anything. Maybe they're just waiting for like some grand announcement. I don't know.
So we're going to have hockey on a golf course in 2021, and I think MLB is going to attempt that Field of Dreams baseball game this year.
They are, yeah, they are.
So this is,
yeah, we're going. We got to go to the corners of the globe, man.
Yeah, I remember when
excitement
playing basketball on an aircraft carrier was crazy. Well,
oh, wasn't that college?
Yeah.
Yes, that was weird.
That was very weird.
That was very. Have they ever done that since, or just that one?
I don't think so.
No. Oh my god, so funny. So, with the season coming up, there's always stuff that you take into account and say like, I wish hockey would do this differently. So yeah, I mean, you came up with the idea of putting our GM or commissioner hats on and changing some things up around the league. What do you got in mind?
Well, with the NFL starting to die down a little bit, NHL we're about to have the outdoor games. We're going to be front and center. Just spitballing some ways that the NHL could improve. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the bench show. Cody Beekman. I really think the NHL needs to do a better job at marketing the past and the future, and they need to, in the off season, I brought up a 3-on-3 tournament with alumni and futures, where you can get like Sakic, Forsberg, and Cale Makar playing against like Ty Domi, Max Domi. Like
that would be fun.
Like and it's for nothing. Just do like maybe a half a period, and then swap out to the next 3.
Yeah,
it's something for fans to get together and watch. Especially, I mean, we're coming up on the end of the deal with NBC, potential deal with ESPN. I mean, what better way to grow your game than, oh yeah, I used to remember watching that game, and oh yeah, I remember Mike Donato, and you get Wayne Gretzky out there, and
yeah, I mean, that was my first thought was they need to do a better job of promoting their stars.
Yes.
Beyond Connor McDavid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and even to the point where like they're not like, everybody knows Sidney Crosby, but you don't see him, I don't anyway, in their ads as much. And it's all about, and I get it, and I love the fact that it's all about like team when it comes to a commercial or something like that that's on NBC or promoting a game that's coming up. It's all about the team, but that's not where the world is. When the sport fan wants to see individual stars. Yeah. That's where allegiances are right now. I don't like that. I'm not that type of fan because like people ask me all the time, like I always tell the story, like when Tim Tebow was, the godsend for the Broncos and everybody was like, what's your take on Tebow? I'm like, is he winning them games? That's all I care about. I care about the standings. But the odd thing about that is not so much in hockey, in a lot of other sports, players are not loyal.
No.
In hockey, they're more loyal. Players move around. Don't get me wrong, but you have that. Like the NBA has put stuff in place so you can give more money to a guy if he stays with you.
Yeah.
that's a problem, because like you have to put that in place so these super teams don't develop, and then they develop anyway because they can still make a good buck by going and signing with somebody else. Hockey doesn't have that problem, but hockey has the problem of like, you don't see like beyond Connor McDavid, beyond Ovechkin, beyond Crosby. They don't really push anybody. And I had this discussion with a buddy of mine who, when Nathan McKinnon was not given the NHL 21 front, the cover, like he had a valid point. He's like, I don't think enough people know who he is. And I'm like, well, you know, and I had to think outside of, you know, the people in the NHL world, because people outside of the NHL will buy this video game. And legitimately, like, who will sell more, Alexander Ovechkin or McKinnon? Ovechkin will.
Yeah.
And if but if you know, really talk to people like who's a top 3 talent for people in the know with hockey, Nathan McKinnon's in that conversation. Outside of that, he's not. They don't promote him. He's not in a big market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guarantee you Alex Lafreniere will get more publicity than Nathan McKinnon does, because he's in a big market in New York. So I think that's a big problem for the NHL, and they need to do a better job of doing that.
I think, just even broader, like, I think the NHL needs to do a better job at marketing itself.
Yeah.
You ask a casual fan, name me 15 teams in the league.
That's a big problem. I thought you were going to say name me 15 players. They might not be able to name me 15 players in the league. But
I bet you they're not going to call out the Panthers. I bet you they're not going to call out like Hurricanes, maybe. I mean, like there's teams that casual fans, like, we talk about like the Avs not getting like mainstream publicity, Nathan McKinnon getting snubbed. There are entire teams that are that way. You don't see Arizona until they're in the playoffs.
Right.
They're not on the weekly games. Like, if you told somebody, what about the Coyotes? They'll tell you, oh yeah, I love Phoenix. They have no idea they changed their name.
No.
Like, and I wonder how many people still think they're the Mighty Ducks.
Probably, you're right about that. Yeah.
Like, the NHL needs to do a better job at not just marketing the players, but the teams they're on, and be more prominent. Because, I mean, we get ads for the NBA, NFL. When Major League Baseball comes up, we get the commercials in the middle of every game. Is the NHL doing that for other sports?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's going to take time. I mean, at this point, you know, you're going to need like a solid, like 3 years to really make these guys household names outside of those big 3 with McDavid, Crosby, and Ovechkin. But you start doing that after the draft, like, you know, with the NFL. Like, I don't watch a ton of college football, but I know who Joe Burrow is because they don't shut up about him.
Yeah.
They don't do that in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like, you get it every once in a blue moon with McDavid. But they fell into a good situation with Lafreniere in New York because of the market. But they just don't. It shouldn't matter. And I think the NHL is kind of big on markets and those few guys that they know they can sell. And that's a tough situation that they're in, because if you start doing this, if you start going down the road of promoting McKinnon more, like even Barzal, even somebody like Matthew Barzal.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Austin Matthews, I think he gets a good amount of publicity, but he should get more. You got to start promoting these guys, because it's killing you, just going through the motions of these 3 big guys, which are great, but people don't know that the league is more than just them.
And they're good quality people. Good. I mean, you can brand them.
Yeah.
They're good. Like, they're good people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scared that the NHL is about to have a problem that Major League Baseball has right now. Their best player is Mike Trout, and nobody cares.
and he is he's like a life-changing baseball player, man. That guy
and
is
nobody
insane.
cares.
No, it's sad. I mean, what's he making, like 40 million a year or something like that?
Like, if you ask anybody like about Major League Baseball players, how many of them, like casual fans, will name Mike Trout?
No, they'll go to like Aaron Judge probably, because he's a big boy. I don't know who else would really name in baseball right now. Like it's
Aaron Judge and
maybe even the other guy in the Yankees. I can't think.
Guess who doesn't care about baseball that
I
much
know
anymore?
it's tough. It's tough. So, but you're right. A lot of these guys don't have image problems, and it's a good thing.
And like, and we bring this up, and the reason we wanted to do this is because the NHL they're in a good place right now where they can sweep into that big four. I know we were talking on Locked On Avalanche about when Max Kellerman did his comments that the NHL's not a top four sports league.
Yeah.
Like, we can be.
Oh, absolutely.
We just have to put the effort in the right places. Running the same Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Kendall Cohen Schofield and David Pasternak every 3 commercials is not the way.
Doesn't help. I mean, look at basketball. Basketball was struggling like a while ago.
They were
struggling, and now they're coming out, and like the revenues they're making are huge, but they know how to market it. They know, it's a sport where like a lot of young people like it. They started promoting the individual players, and it worked, but it took time. And the NHL can get there, but they just don't seem like they have any interest in doing that to try to build up some different revenue. Maybe I really think this ads on the helmet thing is going to stick. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think the teams that do it will kind of show you the financials that came out of it, and then that'll be mandated. The NBA did it with the small patch on the logo or on the jersey, but go ahead.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Gary Bettman got his start in the NBA in the 90s.
Did he really?
Before he became the all-seeing eye in the NHL.
Yeah.
He got his start in the NBA, so he should know what to do.
Who's the guy? There is a guy that is kind of like right behind him that was with the NBA, I think like Donald Fair or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he was in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken.
That's where Bettman came from. So it's crazy. Not like this is out of his realm of knowledge. He knows what to do.
Yep.
So
I think that's a big things that they need to do is work on the financial stuff, because what the salary cap is, what,
81?
It's low 80s.
Yeah.
And I know you have fewer players than like an NFL team or something like that, but you don't than a basketball team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have more players than a basketball team, and what's basketball salary cap? Do you know off the top of your head or no?
I mean, basketball and baseball are in like million, like so much.
Well, baseball doesn't even have a cap.
Like that's what's hard for me to like wrap my mind around. Like, where is the disconnect? How could baseball, like,
so basketball salary cap is 109 million for 12 guys on a team, right?
And like, what is the average? Is the ticket prices for an NBA game more than an NHL game?
I'm sure they're comparable. I'm sure it's dependent on the day of the week and the opponent.
I've always wondered how baseball and like NBA can do like so much. They have like they're more visible and more viable than the NHL.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it has something to do with like, our jerseys just so much more than what the NBA or MLB is, or like the tickets more expensive. Like, what makes the NHL so like 81 million compared to what, 108, 109 is what 109. You said?
Yeah.
Like, how?
I think a lot of it is TV revenue. NBA is on ABC, ESPN, TNT. Are they on another channel?
I wonder if I wonder if buying equipment is a comparable.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Like basketball, all you need sneakers.
Sneakers
in
and a ball.
basketball.
That's it.
Like you need the chest protector. You need your
Yeah.
like you need your skates.
Sticks. Multiple
sticks.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap.
It is an expensive sport to play. It very is expensive. I mean, I'm sure all that stuff comes into it. Would that be what is the that fills in the gap between the two? I don't know if that's the one and only thing, but I'm sure every little thing adds up. It could be that it costs a lot of money. And yeah, I mean, I do. I think I know for basketball that they signed a lot of people were signing. LeBron James was one of them that only signed like a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal with Cleveland when he went back to Cleveland because he knew the league was going to sign a new TV deal and there'd be a lot more money.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big player in it is revenue from the TV ads or the TV deals.
And like MLB Network and NHL Network share the same studio.
Do they really?
Yes, they do.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so yeah, they'll do like in the off season. I've seen them do like little because MLB Network has that little field in their studio.
Yeah,
they'll do like home run derbies against like NHL Network stars and stuff. They share the same studio, but like I don't know. The NHL needs to do something to. I mean, it's one of those you put on an NHL game like at a bar, and you put it on television. People are engaged because it's a visually entertaining sport.
Yep.
It's not like all these others we talked about it, like the lack of action.
Exactly.
Like it's not a problem of the product being good. It's everything around it. And I just have never understood why.
No, it has appeal, it has a lot of appeal, but it doesn't have that broad appeal to bring in the casual fan that like NFL can do, or even the NBA can do. And it needs to do that. I think that's where it struggles.
Yeah.
That's where it struggles a lot. So
absolutely.
Still the greatest sport, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
By far. So, all right. You had a crazy story you wanted to tell me about.
Yeah.
Somebody. So let's hear it.
Well, with our on Twitter, we talked about the Be a Pro mode that's coming up.
Yes.
And Clappercast Media, they came out and they threw out a name. Okay. And I haven't heard this name in a long time. I was like, oh man. And I have it here so I can pronounce it correctly. Taro Tsujimoto.
Okay. What is that?
Taro Tsujimoto. Back in 1974, during the expansion draft, the Buffalo Sabres were up, and it was deep in the rounds, and they were getting completely bored to death with sitting there and drafting all these just nobodies. So the GM at the time was like, I'm sick of this. Literally said, I'm sick of this. I got this. And called in their pick, Japanese sensation. This is 1974.
Okay.
He would have been the first Japanese player in the NHL. They drafted Taro Tsujimoto. And thing is, he did not exist. They just made him up so they could get him on the board and get out of there. So it was they kept like this is back as like again 74 before Twitter. There's no way you can pull him up on Cap Friendly or anything. So every time, like when training camp opened, the media was like, well, when's he coming over? Your big Japanese talent. They're like, oh, deal's in the works, he's on the way. And he did that for a little bit, and then once the team all got together, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, he's not even real.
Oh my God. Who was this? Which team was this?
Buffalo Sabres.
The Sabres did it? I never heard this story.
Yes. There's actually a good article on NHL.com about it.
Yeah.
You Google the legend of Taro Tsujimoto. we are going to give this man a shot to have a career on fourth line minutes via pro mode. We are going to take Taro all the way and give him the dream that he never had.
This is brilliant, my man. This is absolutely brilliant.
Alan reached out and said he wants to start this all the way at the beginning in juniors and roll it all the way. So Alan, we're going in the juniors, and we're in Clappercast. We are going with Taro and giving him the career he deserves.
This is fantastic. So all right. So what's the next step then? So we're gonna start this thing.
We are gonna start. We'll give birth to Taro.
Okay.
And
I hope that's not actually a part of the game where like you're in a delivery room and he's actually born into existence.
If you guys want to reach out on Twitter and give us an idea on what junior team you want us to start out with, we can do that. But we'll be recording that first episode sometime in this week. So
okay,
keep your eyes open.
Okay. Wow.
But we will give this man his due.
You know what it makes me think of? There was another story from college football. This was at least 10 years ago, maybe probably a little bit more than 10 years ago. And signing day is a big deal now, and you always get the high school players in like the college gym with the hats, and then they put the hat on of the team that they're going to. And there was this kid, they did a story on it on ESPN. There was this kid who was, I think he was in Nevada, the state of Nevada. And he was like a good lineman, offensive lineman. Probably not like top in the state, but probably like he's definitely top 10 in the state. And he was being scouted and probably would have went Division I. Problem was his grades were awful. So he was even fighting to finish school. And he was so embarrassed by that because everybody had built him up that he was going to be a great college football player and, potential to go pro. And he had built it up in his mind. So he staged what do they call it? I mean, is it just cap day? I don't know if they have a name for it. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the National Signing Day, the cap ceremony.
Yeah, he staged that entire thing at his school. And everybody's there. Everybody's in the stands. Local news is there. And he's got his family behind him. And he's got UCLA, Cal, and another team, maybe like USC or something like that. And he picks up I think it was Cal. I don't think it was UCLA. I think it was Cal. Picked up Cal. He's like, I'm going to Cal. And everybody's going crazy. And then somebody who was there texts the coach. Was like, hey, congratulations on getting so-and-so. I don't remember the kid's name. And the coach was like, we never scouted him. And it's very quickly came out within the next like week or so that this kid was lying about the whole thing. I mean, it's not the level of conjuring up a player, but as soon as you start telling the story, that's the first thing I thought of was that kid in college. I feel bad for him. I don't know what he's doing. I should look him up, see whatever became of him. But you're right though about like this would never happen today. No. The way drafts are and the way preparation is, not by the teams, by the media, it would never happen in a million years. Ever.
No, and it's one of those that like, especially if something of that caliber, like a Japanese player, it's easy. You pull up, you just Google his name, and there's everything you want to know right there.
Why didn't another team come out? And maybe they did, I don't know, and just be like, we've never heard of this guy.
Well,
like, he doesn't exist. Like
NHL Network didn't exist in 74. It was an expansion draft. It was late rounds. It was like, what, you get the first 2 or 3 rounds on television, and the rest are just like live streamed on the website.
Yeah.
So I mean, like on the late rounds, you're not paying attention. So everybody's just like, okay, sure. And like, it's one of those, you just call in your pick and you say, hey, I'm picking up Taro Tsujimoto. And everybody's like, oh, well, that's cool. We're going to have to check him out.
Today, that would be huge news because it's not, I mean, the sport is not that I know of like huge over in Japan, but you know what I mean? So having a player from that country come over here and play NHL, people that he would be like Ichiro Suzuki coming over here. You know what I mean?
I gotta find it. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He did one more thing. I get and the general manager not only announced his name, he played for the Tokyo Katanas, which is Saber.
Is it really? Oh my god, this is genius.
So,
actually,
the Buffalo Sabres got from the Tokyo Katanas.
Tokyo Sabres. The
Yep.
Buffalo Sabres took a player from the Tokyo Sabres. It's genius.
He had it all. It was awesome.
There's got to be, maybe not a full documentary, but this is perfect for like a 30 for 30 or something like that. You know, those ESPN shorts.
And that's what we're gonna do on our Be a Pro.
All right.
We're gonna give this man his story.
And
what if
who
I
knows?
told you the career that never existed?
Maybe we can make him a Hall of Famer if we put him in the right situation. Maybe this ends with a Hall of Fame career.
I gotta try and land him with Boston. I mean, with Buffalo.
Oh yeah. Oh god, that'd be so poetic. I love it. All right, so when are we starting this thing? We're doing this.
We'll record this one night this week.
Yeah, sometime this week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then as we go with that, I think we're trying to figure out a way to make it live, right? Where people can come in and watch with us.
Absolutely.
So, all right, cool. I'm blown away, man. This is perfect. So, all right. Do we have a simulation that we need to go get ready?
Yeah.
Man, I don't like that.
Yeah, the Avs didn't even make the playoffs.
Oh man, this game is terrible. I really don't like this game anymore.
NHL 21. What are you doing?
20. We should probably go back to
you know what? I think I will.
All right, I'm going to say, man, I don't know, because this is just a shot in the dark. If they're putting Anaheim in the final, I'll say the Kings and the Blue Jackets.
Semi-close.
Okay.
Stanley Cup was only 5 games between St. Louis Blues and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay, that'd probably be actually a good Stanley Cup
final. That would be really good, actually, looking at it.
Right. And
the Blues win.
Come on, man.
The St. Louis Blues beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1.
Is there stats like
I wonder if I can
MVP and stuff like that? And not that it matters. I'd care more if Toronto won, but I don't care so much if St. Louis won.
Ooh, I got player stats on the playoffs. Ryan O'Reilly with 22 points in the playoffs. Mitch Marner, 21.
Captain Ryan O'Reilly.
Vladimir Tarasenko had 19 points.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Only 16 games played in the playoffs. Nino Niederreiter had 14 points. So,
really?
Yeah, that's yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, to not even make the playoffs and then St. Louis win it all is just it's a shot in the arm. Did they incorporate a mode where it's like the current divisions or no?
With the shortened season, no, but I wonder if there's a way I can go in there and make that work.
Should just do that for fun one time, just to see if we can do that. So, all right. Well, we'll see next week if we have a better outcome. So,
yeah, that one was rough.
All right. Where can people find you?
At Shaggy Von Doom.
On Twitter and Instagram, right?
Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And follow. I do most of the stuff on the Avalanche Twitter page, LOPN_Avalanche, and then just Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. So, all right. Next week will be the last show that we have before hockey starts. So, anything that comes out during this week, including the world of entertainment, which we didn't talk about Soul. So we'll hold Soul off until next week because I've watched it. Well, I've watched it once in its entirety and then 3 times like broken up because, you know, my 4-year-old wants to stop it and then start it. And so I don't really, but yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in once again. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
All right.